Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Asher, and today I'm going to give an oral presentation on a birthday research paper that I did for oral and written communication. This paper was on my birthday, which was March 27th, 1981. Yes, I know I'm old, but that was 40 years ago, just coming up on 41 years ago. The paper broke down into five separate categories. First being state and local, then national, then world news, entertainment, and then sports. A little bit about me. I was born in Ilion, New York. I was born at the Ilion Hospital and still current day live in Ilion, New York. Now, Ilion's a great town, small population, and has been a great place to live. Our first topic is going to be state and local. And one that kind of talked to me a little bit was something that is very close. It's about the Herkimer Memorial Hospital. Now, if you know where Ilion is, Herkimer is just a few miles down the road, but they had a hospital called the Herkimer Memorial Hospital. And the article that I took my information from or inspired me to write this particular topic was State's Attempt to Convert Hospital near Utica Fought. What this article was about is we had a smaller hospital, one of the smaller hospitals in the area of Herkimer County. Now, we had a hospital in Utica, New York, and we had a hospital in Little Falls. All are within a 20 to 30 mile range of each other. And we also had a very small hospital with about 70 beds in Herkimer, New York. Now, the state saw this as not a need and kind of put pressure on the Herkimer Memorial Hospital to change into an acute long term facility, or also known as a nursing home. Now, there was some pushback because the residents of Herkimer liked having a hospital there within just a minute's travel time as opposed to going to a bigger city like Utica or traveling all the way to Little Falls. So the residents of Herkimer were not happy with this decision. So there was some fight back from the residents of Herkimer, New York. Unfortunately, push comes to shove from when this article was written to about 3 years later in 1984. It did not win, and the state's ruling on that hospital was it was to be turned into a long-term care facility for senior citizens or an extended care facility. It actually got changed and converted to Valley Health Services in 1984 and is still in service today. Now, next on the list to talk about was a national article. And what this has to do with is a recall in a prescription medication. Uh, the name of the article was just Blood Pressure Pills Recalled. Um, this article was written about the Penwalt Corporation, who had been making medications, prescription medications, for quite some time. They also dabbled in salt mining and a few other things. Uh, what the idea of the article is the article was at least written March 27th, 1981, about a pill that was released. It was a blood pressure pill, and it was released in the wrong dosage. Now, the dosage that was meant to be released to the public was a 2.5 milligram pill to help with blood pressure. What was actually released was a 10 milligram tablet, and you can pretty much see the problem there. Prescribing this particular pill could have some serious side effects on its patients or its consumers because the dosages were so wrong. Now, a pharmacy in Indianapolis, Indiana, caught this mishap and reported to the company, and that's why this article was written. It had to have been published in the article with a particular lot number, letting everybody know that if you have this particular medication, it is dangerous. You are to return it to the pharmacy that you purchased it from so that the correct medicine can be distributed. Uh, the Penwalt Corporation didn't seem to receive too much blowback from this. This is a mistake. However, the FDA is all times trying to put new regulations to avoid any of these mishaps happening again in the future. They're still, Penwalt Corporation is still in business today, still distributing different medications. But as far as the research that I've done, there was no casualties from this mishap, and there were no lawsuits pending due to it. Now, next, we're going to be talking about my world news topic. My world news topic is actually something that kind of made me chuckle a little bit. The name of the article is "Hijacker Seized Armored Truck and Gets $2.4 million." Now, if there's not a person out there that hasn't thought about being very wealthy and kind of daydreamed about what you would do with that kind of money, this story kind of, you kind of root for the bad guy. I know that's not a really good way to look at it. I first want to say that this wasn't an aggressive theft. There was no guns involved or anything like that. Nobody was hurt in this. So what had happened was it was an armored truck making a pickup from a bank. There were actually 3 armored truck employees with that truck that day, 2 of which were in the front of the truck who had gone into the bank to secure the pickup and put it into the truck. There was a 3rd guard who was actually in the back of the truck guarding the money. What had happened was somebody wearing a construction helmet walked up to the armored truck front cab, opened the door, got in, and took off. Now, there was the 3rd armored truck security personnel in the back of the truck, and he noticed what was happening when the vehicle took off and ended up jumping out of the truck, leaving $2.4 million in the back of that truck. Now, that truck got away. Obviously, the 3 security guards were on foot and couldn't keep up. What they did do was hail down a cab that apparently was in view and tried to give chase to the armored truck, which did not work out. They did not able to track down the armored truck theft. What they did do was able to recover the truck about 2 miles away from where it was stolen, without the $2.4 million, of course. So the perpetrator did get away with almost $2.5 million, and according to my research, to this day, it still has not been caught. They don't have any leads. Like I said, the person was wearing a construction helmet, and there obviously weren't quite the video cameras that are around today. Now, next on deck is going to be our entertainment from March 27th, 1981, almost just over 40 years ago. What I chose in entertainment was going to be Top Pop Records, just because I'm a huge music fan, and talking about music the day that I was born, there's actually a couple of really good albums / songs that are still pretty relevant today. But Top Pop Records was an article that they used to put in the New York Times that kind of gave you the week in this particular year as to what was the best album and what was the best single of the time. Now, the number 1 album from March 27th, 1981 was High Infidelity by REO Speedwagon, and the number 1 single was Rapture by Blondie. What you also hear, and I'm sure I can get some people to say that this was also a good album that came out on my birthday, was Back in Black by AC/DC, ranked number 9 on that list. We also had Moving Pictures by Rush. There's quite a few good albums that came out the week of my birthday, and some stuff that I still listen to today. Now, some of the top singles that were released were John Lennon, Woman, Dolly Parton, 9 to 5, Let's see, we have The Best of Times by Styx. So, not really my genre of music, but I still do listen to some AC/DC Back in Black. That's a really great album, and it has been my entire childhood to adulthood. So it's really kind of neat to think that this album was released, or at least was reviewed as the number one album, or not number one album, but one of the top 10 albums from my birth week, and I still listen to this album today. Now, next, we are going to go on to our sports category. Sports, I'm not a huge sports buff. I just want to make that perfectly clear. I don't watch a ton of sports. I'm an occasional football uh, watcher, but haven't been much of recently because of the politics that are in sports. But the particular article that I want to talk about today, including sports, would be Leonard is taking Syracuse by storm. Now, this is a boxing article, and if anybody hears anything about boxing, there's some greats like Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, and of course, what this topic is about, which would be Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard, if you've ever heard about boxing, you've heard about Sugar Ray. Now, this particular article was about Sugar Ray Leonard's match title fight against Larry Bonds. Larry Bonds was kind of a very much lesser known boxer who was trying to go for a title fight. This was happening in Syracuse, New York. Syracuse, New York had not had a title fight or any serious boxing match in the last 11 years. So they were this was kind of a publicity stunt to draw attention to Syracuse, as well as kind of gauge what kind of ticket sales could happen if Sugar Ray Leonard were to fight somebody a little lesser known, or what he would bring in when he fought somebody who was a little bit better known. Now, the fight did end up winning, with Sugar Ray Leonard winning in the 10th round at 2 minutes and 22 seconds with a technical knockout. Now, Sugar Ray Leonard has had a very impressive career with 40 fights total. He had 36 wins, 25 by way of knockout, and only 3 losses in his entire career, which is incredible for a boxer, and that's why you still hear his name today. Now, he was inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame in 1997, and now kind of is just retired, doing the family life, does some broadcasting, but nothing quite as high stress as boxing itself, and physical on the body. In conclusion, I guess being somebody who's 40 years old, a lot of things have happened over the years. It's kind of been a nice, fun project, being able to research things that have happened the time I was brought into this world. A lot of things that I didn't know that were going on, but it's kind of cool to see how things transpired, or how things worked out from start to finish. It's a project I've enjoyed, and I hope everybody enjoyed hearing what I had to say. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great day.